And then we hear, oh, the lights up now. Let me go and let y'all hear this one over here. I forgot I stopped it. Let me bring this on home. Is ain't no rebel. Evangelist Auntie Fee was trying to let y'all hear earlier.
There's a
let,
guy by the
let
name
me
of
bring
Andrew
this
Kovac.
on home for you. Y'all ready for me to bring it on home? It's time for me to connect them dots. Woo! Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Hit the like button. Give me a one in the comment section if you ready for us to connect these dots. Well, now we understand why Erika Kirk never could drop a tear. She couldn't drop one because she was never really there for him. She was there because Trump put her there. Yeah, her daddy, who's probably invested offshore just like Trump. Hello? Sacrificed his daughter and her mama too. They put her little pretty ass to work long time ago. Hello. That's why she laid her head on his chest like this is my big daddy. Y'all ready? Let's listen with our good ear. Let's go.
Kovacs. Andrew Kovac is the executive, one of the executives and the spokesman for Turning Point USA. Now, Kovac, he basically sends a message to a YouTuber, some random YouTuber. I've never heard of him. This is where it gets weird. The guy gets a message. He wasn't supposed to disclose what Andrew said or what he sent to him. He accidentally discloses this message from Andrew, but the fact that he shows all this showing that Erika Kirk, they're trying to figure out her whereabouts on September 8th. And there's reports of her being seen at Fort Huachuca. She sends a picture saying, hey, I couldn't have been there because I'm with my kids. Sends a screenshot. Mind you, we've never seen Erika Kirk's kids. Puts her finger over the kid's face, so we can't see their face. We don't know what the kids look like. She puts her finger over the picture and sends it, and this is what Andrew sent to the random YouTuber. So, Fort Huachuca, it's the home, they call this the home of military intelligence. Now, this place, it's a massive
The home of what? Let's go.
military base where they do a lot of training, over 70,000 acres. So I think that the reason she was there is because of a few things. For one, her mom, Lori Fronsvie. So her company, E3 Tech Group, specializes in a very particular type of weaponry. This place, Fort Huachuca, specializes in
They do what? They specialize. Specialize in what?
electrical warfare. I've also looked into it, and this place is greatly known for being the largest unmanned aircraft systems training facility, aka no drone.
No. No.
Now, what did I say that Charlie Kirk was killed by?
A fucking drone.
A drone.
I'm done with this shit.
Did y'all listen with your good ear? Y'all need to hear it one more time for the one time warfare.
There's a guy by the name of Andrew Kovac. Andrew Kovac is the executive, one of the executives and the spokesman for Turning Point USA. Now, Kovac, he basically sent a message to a YouTuber, some random YouTuber. I've never heard of him. This is where it gets weird. The guy gets a message. He wasn't supposed to disclose what Andrew said or what he sent to him. He accidentally discloses this message from Andrew, but the fact that he shows all this showing that Erika Kirk, they're trying to figure out her whereabouts on September 8th. And there's reports of her being seen at Fort Huachuca. She sends a picture saying, hey, I couldn't have been there because I'm with my kids. Sends a screenshot. Mind you, we've never seen Erika Kirk's kids. puts her finger over the kid's face, so we can't see their face. We don't know what the kids look like. She puts her finger over the picture and sends it, and this is what Andrew sent to the random YouTuber. So
They gonna believe me
Fort
one day,
Huachuca is
Specs.
the home. They call this the home of military intelligence. Now, this place, it's a massive military base where they do a lot of training, over 70,000 acres. So I think
Dang, do
that
y'all
the
remember?
reason she was
Hold
there,
on, do y'all remember that picture of Erika, Kirk, and all them people? I don't know. And I said, who is this guy? This
there's a
guy
guy by the
looked
name
familiar.
of
He was standing
Andrew
next to her
Kovac.
in the
Andrew
back,
Kovac is the
standing just
executive, one
like
of the
that
executives and the
military guy.
spokesman for Turning Point USA. Now, Kovac, he basically sends a message to a YouTuber, some random YouTuber. I've never heard of him. This is where it gets weird. The guy gets a message. He wasn't supposed to disclose what Andrew said or what he sent to him. He accidentally discloses this message.
Yeah,
from
he's
Andrew, but
he's
the fact-
sending information out just in case something happened to him. He would have already sent him something to research.
that he shows all this, showing that Erika Kirk, they're trying to figure out her whereabouts on September 8th. And there's reports of her being seen at Fort Huachuca. She sends a picture saying, hey, I couldn't have been there because I'm with my kids. Sends a screenshot. Mind you, we've never seen Erika Kirk's kids. Puts her finger over the kid's face, so we can't see their face. We don't know what the kids look like. She puts her finger over the picture and sends it, and this is what Andrew sent to the random YouTuber. So Fort Huachuca, it's the home. They call this the home of military intelligence. Now, this place, it's a massive military base where they do a lot of training.
That guy, this guy right here. I'm gonna have to go back to the picture, but there was a guy in the picture with her with all of them kids, Romania kids, that just kind of popped up. Candace brought it up too, but I had showed y'all those kids before. And I said, oh, who is this guy's in the back? Who is he? What is he? And I said, oh, but he looked familiar. Now, it looked like he may have been a darker, but he had the same type look, same type stance. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But he was a part of her with Romania.
Over 70,000 acres. So I think that the reason she was there is because of a few things. For one, her mom, Lori Franz.
Her mom. So when I said she was sold out by her dad who worked for Trump and her mom was military. She in deep, ain't she?
So her company, E3 Tech Group, specializes in a very particular type of weaponry. This place, Fort Huachuca, specializes in electrical warfare. I've also looked into it, and this place is greatly known for being the largest unmanned aircraft systems training facility, aka no drones. Now, what did I say that Charlie Kirk was killed by?
A fucking drone.
A drone.
Whew. Okay, y'all. Yes, indeed. T-Sippers, what y'all think? Huh? What y'all think? Trump gang, Gestapo, fraud, associate. So let's get back where we was. And you know, I'm not gonna mix that. I'm gonna leave that for now. Hey y'all, my mouth is wide open. Yeah, Dee. Wide open. It's like, damn. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, let's go back. Can we think back? Ooh! Y'all, this is running into the other live that's supposed to be coming up next. Because what did that guy, I can't think of his name. He was supposed to be over security. And he said that he was told, look at his face. He looking like, you bitch. You, hold on. Let me change it. You black itch. And that may be true, but make sure you put it in all caps. Put. Can you make it Miss Black? I mean Miss. Yeah, Miss. Black bitch. I mean, if we gonna call some names, make sure you. Hey, yeah, put Miss on there now. No, that's not be disrespectful. Nasty work. Absolutely. He's saying you itch. Now, when Candace did her little research, I'm wilding. And she said that guy who was supposed to be over security, he sit there and told on himself, you know, he was in, and he said that he was told he couldn't do drones. He couldn't fly drones. Ain't that what he said? Could he not fly drones because they was going to be flying drones to take out Charlie? You talking about Liberty? I think Liberty was a part of the child trafficking. I think nothing but snakes. Yeah, that Farwell. I have it set up for us to listen to that because that guy here, he mentioned Michael Cohen. Yeah, but hold on. Yeah, that guy that said that, I can't think of his name. Hold on. Who said that he could not use a throne. This cat.
Looking for tax help? Now there are
Why was he told? Because remember they said the security, everything kind of changed.
You were on the stage with Charlie Kirk as the head of his contracted security detail on September 10th when he was assassinated. You know I'm not a combative interviewer. I do have some tough questions. It's been 2 months since this tragedy and
what's his name?
A lot of unanswered questions.
I just need his name.
People are starving for some answers. I know a lot of people are going to be very interested in what you have to say.
There's so much out there, and there's so much out there that's not true.
Say everyone in the Pro Zero, and I don't say it, acts that way. But I got
Agreed.
texts about you, Megan.
What's that man name?
You know, I've been really quiet about this. It's a real shame, but it just got to be so much that I just did not trust my own eyes, ears, what I was reading, what I was watching. I think a lot of people have
Not him, the other guy.
sensationalized this.
Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder.
Just
Did-
Britney surveillance footage, fake text messages, and a transgender furry.
Lies.
In less than 36 hours.
Kovacs. Okay. Let me go this way, so I won't be spinning my wheels trying to get to what I'm trying to get y'all to remember. Him. And as far as the guy, he's just he's the Lee Harvey Oswald. He's just the person that probably, I'm gonna be honest, who probably thought that he was being hired, like the little old white man who said that he was I'm the shooter. And he wasn't. KOVA. See. And he probably thought he had an acting gig and thought he was going to be a crisis actor. He probably still think he acting. I don't think he be sitting in the jail every day. Hold on. That ain't it. KOVACS. Yeah, he's scapegoat. Why that's not pulling up? KOVACS. Yeah, let me go back to the other way I was looking, because that didn't pull up what I was looking for. What's his first name? Do you know? Yeah, actor. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why he be sitting there looking all crazy. That's why he be sitting there looking all like, what? Just like the old guy. And then when he told somebody that he was acting, or somebody told him that they would pay him, and he don't know who paid him.
You were hacked.
You're telling me it's real?
Someone's been watching and listening through you.
Andrew, okay.
You to find them and destroy them. Are you in? For Charlie and his family. Brian Harpole, a highly decorated lawn.
Okay, let's go. We're here now. I wasn't planning on this.
Welcome to the show.
Brian, that's his name, Brian Rack. Let's hear his name, y'all. Somebody write his name down. Hold on.
Very heavy interview today. And,
Hold on. Oh, dang, this is a long interview. I just want the part where he said about the drone. Brian who? Let me put the closed caption up. I need his name.
Brian Harpole.
Brian Harpole. There you go. Brian Harpole. No, was talking to Auntie Fee. What you mean? What I missed? Brian Harpole. Can somebody type that in? Brian Harpole. The harp. Brian Harpole. I don't know what y'all talking about. Let me go here. Brian Harpole. Hold on. I need to be able to remember this when I need to. Brian. Because he said he was told that he could not use the drone. Who told you that? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna have to go here. Y'all know once I start, I hate to research with y'all. I didn't do it ahead of time, so I'm here now. And I gotta do it like this, so y'all gonna have to go along with me. Harpole. Okay, hold on. One more, yeah, Harpole. Thank you, me.
Join Genesis Health Clubs for $0 today. Plus, get $400 worth of personal training. Train here.
Let's go.
What is up, guys? California Phantom here to talk about the explosive interview with the Sean Ryan show guest Brian Harpole. For any of you who've missed the interview that Sean Ryan did with Brian Harpole, I highly recommend you see it. I believe it's free on YouTube, but it's certainly free on Spotify. So go ahead and check that out now. Now, I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist.
Okay, so do we just want to watch the video, the interview? Yeah, I don't want to hear nobody's take. But that's a long video. I mean, interview. Hold on. I don't want to hear nobody's take on it. Not right now. Mm-hmm. Sorry y'all having to research with me. But just so you know, this is how it goes.
You've seen other people get fit and healthy with Body. Now it's your turn to get amazing results. Body has over 140 structured home
Let's
workout
see what
programs that have created thousands of success stories. And now Body's just $19 a month with your first week free. Go to bodywithani.com.
They didn't have jurisdiction. That ain't it either. Hold on. This is when his partners was lying, trying to cover. Bald headed one, and then this one. But that's Boyer. This ain't what I'm looking for. Hold on. I hate to have to put that whole thing on. Yeah, you lying. Stop lying. Stop covering. Yeah, we finna get into it. Where is him with the I want the part where he talked about drones were let's see this one. So yeah, just so you know, this is what I go through when I do research. That's why I be adamant about supporting the platform.
Welcome back to Trigger Smart. Something caught my attention, and I was thinking about it, and then one of you sent me a very interesting document. So let's talk about the drones at UVU. Could a drone have prevented Charlie Kirk from getting assassinated? Possibly. because they would have seen someone on the roof. They even could have seen him getting on the roof before he took a shot. They could have had theoretically plenty of time to pull Charlie down. They don't necessarily have to stop the shooter. They could just say, oh, someone's on the roof, get Charlie out of there. Boom, they're gone, right? So that could have saved his life for sure. Now, this new document that I'm seeing, if it is correct, and if it is true, which it appears to be, it is from uvu.edu, from their policies. This is their official drone policy. But first,
Trump
I'm going
needs
to
to
remind
go
you
away and hide
what
himself.
Brian Harpole was saying
He
about the
stands for
drones
no purpose.
and why they didn't use them.
Impeachment will
Our
take too
risk.
long.
You know,
Here we
it's a
go.
risk assessment when we come in. That's why we get there. That's why we start doing the advance so early. We walk it. You know, we build it ourselves.
They walk it. They build it themselves. They get there early. Now, from what he said, I believe it was the 24th of the month previous, so they had at least 2 weeks.
And so initially, I spent thousands of dollars on drones last year, and got the guy's license. But
that's a flex.
If the area lies in the Provo, Utah airspace,
it was just about to get good, wasn't it? It was just about to get good.
I can't fly.
He's saying if it's in Provo, Utah airspace, he cannot fly for whatever reason. Okay.
That's a 107B. We can't break the rules. Right? And then you had secondary restrictions.
Okay.
That's a 107B. We can't break the rules.
He's saying if it's in Provo, Utah airspace.
Are y'all listening with y'all good ear?
He's saying if it's in Provo, Utah airspace, he cannot fly for whatever reason. Okay.
That's a 107B. We can't break the rules. Right? And then you had secondary restrictions, probably due to heavy foot traffic for the school. But I can't go in and break the rules. There's laws for a reason. And so now the school could have flown drones, the PD, but they didn't have them.
Military could have
too.
too.
The PD did not have drones.
Right. And then but Orem PD has a drone unit active.
So he just said they don't have drones. Now he's saying they do have drones.
Professional, and that police department, I will tell you right now, is awesome. They get it. They were there. They helped both on the soft side and the hard side. And so I started asking questions like, "Do you guys have a drone unit?" Yeah, good. Do you have an MOU or a mutual aid agreement with the school? And they're like, yeah. I said, did they call you and ask for assistance? No.
Did he call them and ask for assistance? No. He could have called just like the PD could have called. There's no reason he should have other people doing the work he gets paid to do.
Well, why he didn't clear that in the beginning?
Why would you call?
Why you didn't clear that in the beginning?
There's no reason he should have other people doing the work he gets paid to do.
I'm like, why wouldn't you call? We didn't get asked. And then so table the drones, which would have been awesome, absolutely. I believe in them, but I can't break the law to do it.
So he can't break the law, but UVU and the PD apparently can fly there. So I don't know what special
The military can as well.
Permission they would have different than
because they've already said that there was military helicopters and planes flying around at that time, and we are not going to forget the guy in the all black on the roof.
Do it.
So he can't break the law, but UVU and the PD apparently can fly there. So I don't know what special permission they would have different than anyone else. But when you get your Part 107, you go through the same things as everyone else. The drone has to be legal. You have to know how to fly it legally. You have to have your license. You have to have the drone licensed. And then you can't fly in certain areas, and you can get permission to fly in certain areas.
The drones would have been awesome, but I can't break the law. They could have used them. They chose not to.
And the rooftops were supposed to be covered from the police drones.
PD said, I got you covered.
They said I got you covered. He did not verify.
So the police said that they got him covered. This was a military thing. Erika, Kirk, and her family and them, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. And you're involved too. You should have known better. You head of security? Security! You head of security? You head of security. You spent thousands on drones. You wasn't able to utilize it because the police, yeah. Okay, I ain't gonna be here long, just to prove the point. It was a
License, you have to have the
drone.
drone license.
It was a drone. That's why the gun that they send, oh boy with a shot, game over, Cecilia. That's why the gun that they said was used, and they keep doing those test with that gun. His head would have been off. Blood would have been everywhere. It would have been everywhere.
But when you get your Part 107, you go
But
through the
that's
same
Super
things as
Net,
everyone
Super Shield,
else.
Valhalla.
But UVU and the PD
Oh, yeah.
apparently can fly there.
I'm gonna end on
So I
Valhalla.
don't know what special permission they would have different than anyone else. But when you get your Part 107, you go through the same things as everyone else. The drone has to be legal. You have to know how to fly it legally. You have to have your license. You have to have the drone licensed. And then you can't fly in certain areas, and you can get permission to fly in certain areas.
The drones would have been awesome, but I can't break the law. They could have used them. They chose not to.
And the rooftops were supposed to be covered from the police drones.
PD said I got you covered.
I've
They said I got you covered. He did not verify.
got you covered. It'd be great if that chief of police would have put that fucking drone up.
We'd have had it. Or I'd have flown that drone up his ass if we could have had one.
And you have 3,000 other threats that you're looking at. The rooftops supposedly being covered by the police. Maybe it would have been a good idea to confirm that the police had the drones.
There you go.
So this is a drone thing. This is a death by drone. And so if it's a unaliving death, we can say death by drone, then that means y'all already know that Tyler Robinson didn't do it. But as long as they sticking to that type of gun that they held, even that don't make sense. But they know it's by drone. And if it's by drone and security didn't have it, then that means the police is involved. And if not, it's the military. And if it's the military, then you know why Erika was in, what is it? Fort Huachuca. Yeah. The day before. Signing off the hit.
So now, Sean Ryan said it, and he's trying to be polite. You know, he has the guest there. He doesn't want to have a big confrontation with the guest.
His ass if we could have had one.
And you have 3,000 other threats that you're looking at. The rooftops supposedly being covered by the police. Maybe it would have been a good idea to confirm that the police had the drones.
There you go. So now, Sean Ryan said it, and he's trying to be polite. You know, he has the guest there. He doesn't want to have a big confrontation with the guest. But you have two CIA guys here talking to each other, basically trying to clear the security team's name, based on what I've seen. This was less of an interview and more of a let's clear the name of the security team, is what I get from this. But
your money on the military.
he says it.
The military and her
To
mama.
verify yourself. Now, he's saying it nicely.
Which would be Trump.
I feel like it was a major ball dropped, and that's why Charlie's gone.
Which would be CIA.
But, I mean, you are talking to the chief of police. You would think that he would have the fucking drones up.
Okay, so basically he's saying UVU dropped the ball, the police dropped the ball, he couldn't get permission, or he didn't want to break the law. Now, nowhere in this did he say he actually tried to get permission for them to fly drones. I didn't hear him say that anywhere. So now let's look at the actual policy. All right, so now we are over here at policy.uvu.edu, and if you go to uvu.edu, you'll see this is Utah Valley University. So we're on the policy subdomain. All right, so we look in here. We have Utah Valley University policies and procedures. This is for unmanned aircrafts. right? Drones. And this was created back in 2018. So there's been plenty of time for this to be established and be used there. Now, if this is the latest one, I don't know. There could be another one after this. So if someone else has a newer one, I'd love to see it. But according to this, I'm going to summarize it. But this shows everything you need to know. Who can do it, how to do it, what the penalties are if you don't do it correctly, and how to go about it, right? This has everything. So now let's look at a summary of this. So I put in this exact document, drone authorization requirements, and then I said they had 2 weeks to actually do this. Is that enough? Whether Charlie Kirk's security team could have legally flown a drone over UVU rooftops. UVU strictly prohibits any unauthorized drone flights on university property. However, authorized operation is allowed if the operator completes UVU's required approval process. Here's the process. Submit a request of authorization to UVU Risk Management. Provide a certificate of insurance. Consult with the safety coordinator to verify FAA compliance. Possess FAA credentials. Part 107 license. He said they all had licenses. Receive a signed UVU flight authorization document and notify UVU police before flight. These are all things that they could have done. The question is, did they do it? Did they actually submit a request to fly drones there? Now, he said they're super thorough. They go there early. They get on the ground. They build stuff themselves. Did they take the time to build a request for authorization for a drone? Operators must also register the drone. That's kind of default if you have a drone. Follow federal regulations and ensure safety and privacy. Yes. So that would be easy. So it says, yes, a private security team could legally obtain permission to fly a drone over the rooftops, but only if they completed the full authorization process in advance. So I was thinking, well, how much in advance, right? How far in advance does this have to happen? So whether 2 weeks would have been enough time for the security team. Nothing in the policy gives a minimum time requirement, but here's some like justifications, right? Here's like some rough definitions of times that it could possibly take. Submit a request for authorization, up to 48 hours. Certificate of insurance showing that, maybe 3 days. FAA requirements, if already Part 107 certified, it's immediate. Okay? Now, if there's any special waivers, which is pretty rare for this kind of situation, that could possibly cause delays, but it's saying immediate to several days. Would several days be more than 2 weeks? I don't know, but he didn't say anything about even trying to get any of this stuff. Risk management review, up to 7 days. So the conclusion, yes, 2 weeks is a fully realistic and generally sufficient time frame to obtain UVU drone authorization. This assumes the team already had Part 107, which Brian clearly said they did. Insurance paperwork was ready. It would have to be for his business and the way he operates. The request was submitted promptly. I don't know. Was the request submitted at all is the question. And no complex FAA waivers. So according to UVU policy 705, drone operations on campus are strictly prohibited without prior authorization and require a multi-step process involving all these different things. Okay? Given the structure of these requirements,
now the bullet couldn't have been the same because they said it would have took his head off.
Documentation could realistically complete the process in 2 weeks, as none of the policy steps inherently require long lead times. So that brings us to the big question. Did they officially request to get permission to fly their drones at UVU?
Oh yeah, no, it didn't come.
Process? Now, if they were thorough, if they build everything themselves and they're on the ground early, a little bit more than 2 weeks early, they would have had plenty of time to ask how they can get a drone in there, their drone in there, and get this permission according to this documentation. Now, if there's something different, if you know something,
that's why they cleaned up the crime scene so early.
Out there, something, let me know if this is false. If this document doesn't apply,
they never even looked
but
for
as it sits right now with this,
the bullets.
It looks like they could have,
did they?
But they didn't. So I really want to know: did they actually do that? Now, maybe a FOIA request or something.
And right now, I'm saying Mikey McCoy would be the one who set off or made some type of whatever signal, the button to push or something. I was saying it was something in the phone. I don't know what he did, but the way he had that phone pointed, I don't know. But the way he, once the pop went off, the way he bounced, never stopped, never looked back, never nothing. Never nothing. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm finna get ready to get up out of here on this one. I have to come back, but hold on. Is this the one? That's not the one I was on. Hold on. That one either. Did I just mess it up? I was right where I needed to be. Now I gotta find it again. Hold on. The tea is hot, Trump. The blue-eyed devil show is funneling money, and was funneling it through Turning Point. Oh yeah, you all up in there. And Erika, dirty, trifling ass. Ugh. Dang it, where was it? Oh my goodness. I was right where I needed to be. God dang it, what did I say? What did I say I'm going to end it on? Dang, now I'm here. I can't remember what I... Oh, right here. Valhalla. Now, message unavailable. Deleted by the owner or hidden for privacy. You lying to me. God dang. God dang. You are lying to me. I wondered did they know I was coming. Because I swear I saw it when I came over here earlier. They must have just did that, baby. They must have just did that. Wow. Wow. I was finna take you to Valhalla. Oh, wow. Because it came out, I'm going to tell you, it was one of them little reenactments. And it showed Epstein and Charlie Kirk coming through a door. And some of the people was there. That it's like they was maybe have been at a hospital. I'm gonna say it like that, like a mental crazy ward, and it shows some Hollywood people, show Diddy, and then at the end when he kept walking, he saw Erika Kirk, and she said, "What are you doing here?" And it was Valhalla. It was Valhalla. Yeah. And he saw her and he walked towards her. And he kind of left the person who was supposed to have been Epstein. And he kept walking like in shock to see her there. And she looked up and saw him and said, "What are you doing here?" Yep. And it was removed. What is this? Oh, okay. Oh, no, let me go out. Oh, yeah. This. I'm going to end on this one, y'all. I've been on here 3 hours and 35 minutes. Hold on. Okay, now let me move this down so y'all can see. Hold on. There's some kooky shit going on. Okay. It's some kooky ooky shit going on. Y'all ready? I don't want that sound. I came with that sound. What y'all think? Lord have mercy. The Epstein files would tell a lot about who Trump really is. Oh, yes, it will. Yeah, I gotta go eat. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Elon. Demonic. I don't know what that COBW is. I don't know what that is. Okay, y'all, I'll be back. I will be. Hold on. Let me make sure they out. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, let me find a protective shield. Let me go back the way we... What do y'all think? That's some deep. Drones. 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 Hold on, let me see.
Does your construction company's hiring process look a lot like this? You watch a lot of DIY TikToks.
There were no drones, but then somebody earlier that day flew a drone up. We didn't know where it came from, and we're like, what's the deal with this? I'd have flown that drone up his ass.
What? What did you just say?
Everyone, welcome to the Behavioral Arts. My name is Spidey.
Somebody threw one up.
My certifications in criminal interrogation, body language analysis, and my experience as
There were no drones, but then somebody earlier that day flew a drone up. We didn't know where it came from, and we're like, what's the deal with this? I'd have flown that drone up his ass if we could have had it.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Behavioral Arts. My name is Spidey, and I use my degree in sociology and psychology, my certifications in criminal interrogation, body language analysis, and my experience as an award-winning mentalist to teach people behavioral analysis and practical psychology on stages and television shows all over the world. Earlier this week, on the Sean Ryan show, Charlie Kirk's head of security, Brian Harpole, made an appearance that instantly went viral and generated a record-breaking number of requests for an analysis. The interview divided viewers straight down the middle. Some people saw a man struggling through a difficult story, while others saw red flags all over his delivery. In this video, we're breaking down his noticeable shifts in confidence, depending on the topic.
Did he say somebody threw up a drone out of nowhere? When did you see it? And how did you know it? Thank you for the
There were
float
no
heart.
drones, but then somebody earlier that day flew a drone up. We didn't know where it came from, and we're like, what's the deal with this? I'd have flown that drone up his ass if we could have had it.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Behavioral Arts. My name is Spidey, and I use my degree in sociology and psychology, my certifications in criminal interrogation and body language analysis, and my experience as an award-winning mentalist to teach people behavioral analysis and practical psychology on stages and television shows all over the world. Earlier this week on the Sean Ryan Show, Charlie Kirk's head of security, Brian Harpole, made an appearance that instantly went viral and generated a record-breaking number of requests for an analysis. The interview divided viewers straight down the middle. Some people saw a man struggling through a difficult story, while others saw red flags all over his delivery. In this video, we're breaking down his noticeable shifts in confidence, depending on the topic, along with a few things he said that really stand out once they're put in context. What do his body language, facial expressions, and word choice actually reveal? Let's dive right in.
And afterwards, we went to dinner, and he was just eating sushi, and we were laughing, and it was just these goofy things like you were sitting around a table in high school with a bunch of guys that you were cutting it up with, and I just remember he was like, he really loved the sushi, and he was like, Brian, you gonna eat that? And I was like, no, and he just starts eating it off my plate, and I'm like, this is, yeah, and it's just like, man, it was cool, you know.
Okay, so I wanted to start with that clip of him telling the story of him and Charlie to really stress the importance, especially in this analysis, between baseline and idiosyncratic gestures. Because very often in behavioral analysis, we use the word baseline to talk about both those things, but there's an important distinction. Baseline means the behaviors that we're seeing with a person in this specific conversation. Idiosyncratic gestures means behaviors that a person does regardless of conversation. For example, when I speak, I use a lot of illustrators. I use my hands a lot. And this is because of my background as an entertainer. This is idiosyncratic for me. In other words, in any interaction at any time, I use my hands to speak. The reason it's important to distinguish between those two things in this interview is because it's likely that Brian Harpole's baseline here is different from other conversations. He knows that he has a lot of difficult questions to answer here. He knows that the world is watching, so it's likely that his baseline is going to be a little more stressed than usual. But we're getting some very good baseline information right here as he's telling this story. So he sits in his chair and speaks with a pretty low tone, pretty calm. His hands are often by his side, and they come up to illustrate something. Like when he talks, how he grabs something off of his plate. But generally, they're not up here all the time, and he's not doing big gestures very often. You'll also notice that verbal leaks are quite common for him, and we're going to see this throughout the entire interview. Verbal leaks are when somebody says mid-sentence. Some people can go hours of conversation without ever saying or. Some people say it a lot as they speak naturally, and he's one of those people. Another thing you'll notice is that in this clip, and in a lot of the clips that we're going to see, quite often, his head goes down like this as he's talking. Now, typically, when somebody doesn't do this, and all of a sudden we see this start to happen, it's a guarding gesture. Somebody's getting defensive. The chin comes down, the shoulders might come up into a position that we call turtling, because we're protecting the vital parts of the body. But in Brian Harpole's case, it's happening a lot, consistently throughout the interview, regardless of topic. Another thing that we're starting to see here that's very much part of his personality baseline rather than his behavioral baseline is the importance that he places on brotherhood and friendship. So even in the way that he's talking about this story with Charlie, saying that it was like a bunch of guys in high school, and he often speaks in this kind of group or belonging to a group way, and you're going to see a lot of examples of that coming up. This is something that we pay a lot of attention to, not just in criminal profiling, but even as a mentalist on stage when I'm reading someone for entertainment. Brian is certainly someone who likes to fit in to that group that he considers his brotherhood. And if we look at him, you can tell. There's nothing about the way he dresses that stands out. There isn't this big piece that's a statement or anything like that. He has a little cross. This is, of course, a proud display of the religious group that he belongs to. So even that is a demonstration of belonging. And a lot of what he says, and we're going to see this again and again, is about how he's got this brotherhood, this group that is important to him. And by the way, this type of mentality of wanting to belong to a group is very common in fraternities, sororities, but also military and law enforcement. And he was in law enforcement for 14 years, and that type of profession appeals a lot to people who just want to be part of something, part of a brotherhood.
And so we have some correspondence with the chief of the school on that day, on Monday before Charlie was killed. And why this hadn't come out and why he won't stand up like a man and admit this, I don't know. But he's watching a bunch of men lose their careers, and he's okay with it. On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. I was told students have access above us. If this is true, it would be nice to either have it controlled access or allow one of my guys to be there as well if possible. He comes back and his last correspondence was, I got you covered.
Bullies always like to pick on the little guy because they're never expecting any resistance.
I'm gonna crush you like a bug. This bully looks like he's gonna need a little extra convincing.
Fortunately, this rock will get launched at 400 feet per second and is filled with a chemical agent that is sure to incapacitate even the biggest attacker.